Hi guys, my name is Patrick Stahl and I'm the lead trainer at Perfect Life. I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the futures wheel. Now, the futures wheel, and these illustrations, by the way, I am borrowing from my friend Martin Börjesson, who's a brilliant futurologist. Now, he knows all about the futures wheel. I'm just giving you a layman's overview for how it can be used as a leadership tool. Now, it looks kind of like this. It actually looks exactly like this. In the middle, you put something that you want to investigate. It could be like in the beginning of the pandemic, where you go like, what could this possibly lead to? It could be when you suddenly have a business environment with very high inflation rates. It could be when you are saying, this AI thing, how is that going to impact stuff? Yeah. So it is super simple. You put that phenomenon in the middle. You say, let's say that AI is rushing across the world and impacting everything. What will that lead to? So lots of AI in the middle. First order of effect or first order of consequence means what will that lead to? It will lead to this, this, and maybe that. Don't be too overly critical. You can explore stuff that are like, oh, could possibly mean that all of that will be gone or all of that will happen. So you just put that as a first order of consequence, and then you add the next layer. If that happens, then what will that lead to? And keep going. And if that happens, what will that lead to? Now, I'm going to use the one that Martin helped me understand the pandemic with. This was so early, and that COVID-19 consequences. He helped me understand that there could be a real good usage for the futures wheel, just to understand what I need to prepare for as a leader. So, consequences. People stop traveling and stay in their homes. Companies and public institutions shut down. Shortage of knowledge and solution about this because it's a new situation. We haven't really dealt with a global pandemic in the modern era. Information overload and misinformation, infodemic. Do you remember that? Everybody became an expert on pandemics and viruses, coronaviruses. So that's the first step, the first order of effect. And then you say, well, if people stop traveling and stay in their homes, what will that lead to? Well, it will lead to increased online purchasing and consumption. It could lead to empty streets and squares, collapsing tourism industry. You see, you can build on each of these first order effects. You can build a second order effect. Already, if you're an investor, you can see that, okay, should invest in certain companies then, and should, deleverage myself from certain areas or businesses. Already here, you have concise things to prepare for. Increased use of telepresence technologies. Yes. So if I have 50 employees, maybe I should prepare for that eventuality, And then you can just go on. Sorry about the tiny print here. I just used, this simple description that I got from Martin when he shared this with me in the early days of the pandemic. And he was right on so many things. So since then, whenever there's something new, like a war in a certain region, I quickly do a futures wheel. Either I do it alone or with someone else. So here, if you have empty streets and squares, it could actually lead to risk for looting and theft. And if you have interrupted supply chains, then you will have a shortage of affected products. So it's really, when you have the third order of effect, you're really down to concrete, practical things that will impact your business. And you can really remove some of them, because if you take some of these things, doesn't look like they're materializing. Okay, let's forget about that. But other of these strains seem like this is actually happening, then we should prepare for the third or the fourth order effect so that we are ready for that, if that happens. So it's really not a way to say that we know what's going to happen in the future, but the futures wheel is a really good way of saying that this is an important event. What could this lead to? And if those things happen, if any of those things happen, what could that lead to? And the further out you get, the more precise it will be and the more accurate it will be for you to decide on. That this then leads to a consequence. We need to make a decision about doing this or that. So it's an interesting way of playing with consequences for one significant event. Good luck!